Chapter 10. My father's health was getting worse with the spread of the cancer. 6 years fighting it with part of one of his lungs removed. My stepmother was closed-mouthed about what was going on with my father, so I went down to Enrico Doctor's Hospital for them to tell me specifically what treatment he was getting. The doctor had told me that your stepmother was being informed. I said simply to the doctor, I'm the blood son, and I'm inquiring about my father's condition and entitled to know. The doctor became very unprofessional, and bedside manner lacked a big one. I told the doctor, why hasn't the treatment worked? And why did you tell us my father was in remission after it spread again? He said to me, you can speak to your mother about this. I said, she's not my mother. She's my stepmother, and has kept things closed-mouthed. I'm the freaking son, and I'm asking you what the current treatment and specific condition of my father is. Again, he said, consult with your stepmom. Then I proceeded to call him unprofessional with poor bedside manner and a to boot. Then a police officer walked in and told me to leave the premises. I said, I'll leave once I'm finished my visit. Then the police officer became more verbally forcible, saying, you really have to leave because the doctor called us. I said, I don't give a fuck what the doctor wants. I'm more concerned about my father's condition and why this doctor refuses to inform me of his condition and answer my questions. He's a freaking... Officer said, I understand, so why don't you come back later to visit your father when you have cool down? I asked the police officer, what would you do if that was your father dying of cancer and the doctors didn't give you any answers and doing a lot of double talk? Officer repeatedly said, I totally understand, but yelling at the doctor is not going to get what you want. Come back later. Just try to cool off and be patient. Then I shook my head and walked out. Later on that night, my stepmother and I had more discussion about it, but she played stupid, like she wasn't told certain things herself. I proceeded to call my mother and told her that Dad's condition is getting worse, and told my stepdad the chain of events that have happened. Mom apologized to me and asked God to help and pray. She said, only God can make these decisions, but continue to pray. Mom was a very religious woman and understood, and she was praying for my dad's health as well. It was near Christmas, and it didn't feel like Christmas. The year seemed to be a real bad year. Christmas came and went, and I was planning to go to the hospital and visit my dad that night on the night of December 28th, 2001, and my stepmom said, George, don't. I said, no, I'm going this evening. She said, George, your dad just passed away. I just got a phone call from the hospital. I shouted, God damn it. I was shaking and yelled out loud, why, God damn it? That night was a rough one, but I made sure I kept to myself, and kept to myself I did. I announced to my friends. It was extremely for loss of words, and condolences came in. My house felt empty, and it was depressing without my father there. I felt his spirit within the house. Months went by thereafter after my father's death, and I could tell my stepmother was up to something. My stepmother obviously secretly wanted to go back to Michigan from where she was from. When the reading of the will was drawn up, it laid out my father's intentions. He wanted her to keep the house and split the income, where I got 70% of the cash and my stepmom got 30%. Definitely favorable to me, but was doled out to me in portions within a span of 30 years. Total sum of $800,000 to be split up. My stepmother, secretly in talks with her children, had planned to move back to Michigan and finally made mention that she wanted to go back to Michigan. Catch was she wanted to be paid out a certain amount of giving up her rights to the house. I had a problem with the whole scenario, but a state trustee, Michael Redacted, trustee with First Virginia Bank, told me that the trustee would pay for an attorney for me to handle my concerns with my stepmother, since her children paid for an estate attorney for her. It pissed me off because certain heirlooms she wanted, and heirlooms that belonged to my Aunt Ava and which my father inherited, was stuff she was trying to scoop up. Finally, the real estate attorney was provided for me, and one that I chose out of a selected few represented my concerns. What my stepmother's attorney proposed was a 50% split in the cash value and giving me the rights to the house with a 65,000 additional payout to my stepmother. I had a problem with the numbers and the fact she would end up getting more in cash than me, but I would get my childhood house and my money faster in annual payments every year. So I had a big decision to make. My stepmother needed my blessings though for her getting 50%, though that extra 65,000 gave her more. Still trying to weigh out the pros cons. Very sensitive matter. But I was also concerned about her taking stuff out of the house that I wanted, which caused issues within itself, giving me more to think about. Though I get ownership of the house quicker by giving my blessing and her getting half of the amount.